Kevin, thanks for being here.
Hey, thank you for having me.
January 21st, 12:01 a.m., you became free from the shackles of the government. Is that a significant change, or have you already kind of immersed yourself in the internet and technology since your probation 3 years ago?
Well, I've actually been keeping up with technology even for the last 8 years. When I was in federal custody, I used to have people send me magazines, send me printouts, and I'd keep up with technology. But finally, on January 21st was a significant day for me because all the conditions, the strictest conditions that apparently a defendant had to live under for 3 years have been lifted, and it's a great relief. I could use technology, I could use the internet, I could use a PDA, I could travel freely throughout the world, and most importantly is any employment opportunities don't have to be approved by the federal government.
Now, you were once called the most feared computer criminal, I guess, in the world. Now,
a little bit overblown, but yes.
Perhaps,
yes.
But do you believe at this point, now that you are obviously free from the government, that you are being put under surveillance?
I believe if the government believes that I'm up to anything illegal, that they will certainly surveil me. And I don't think it's over. I think the government will continue to watch me for the rest of my life, and especially if they believe that I'm involved in something. And it's just something I have to live with. And as long as, even though I don't like it, and as long as I keep my nose clean, hopefully they'll move on to, bigger fish.
Well, now that you're free to outfit yourself, what kind of gear are you picking up?
Well, I got a present yesterday. Steve Wozniak actually gave me a getting off supervised release present, so I got a new titanium PowerBook. My girlfriend bought me a new BlackBerry, and I got a new iPod. So I got 3 pieces of technology I'm gonna have a lot of fun with.
Well, now that you have all this gear and you can access computers and networks, there's an old saying, perhaps, that says, once a con, always a con.
Yeah, I've heard that before.
Do you think you have a credibility problem as it relates to, you're starting a company called Defensive Thinking to help companies defend against vulnerabilities and hacking, and yet you're the preeminent hacker, at least according to some stories and tales. It's kind of a double-edged sword.
No, I agree with you, and it's a huge challenge. I bring the skill set to help companies mitigate the risk, but at the same time, it's the fear because of my background of engaging in computer hacking activities. And rather than listen to my words, hey, I'm not doing it again, I'm out of it, which is true, looking at what I've been doing since my release from prison, I think I've made plenty of positive contributions. I'm going to continue to do so, and hopefully my clients will give us the benefit of the doubt.
Well, what would you say are the 3 biggest myths about Kevin Mitnick?
Okay. That I hacked into NORAD, and that I foreshadowed the 1983 movie War Games, that I planted a false news story about Security Pacific Bank losing millions of dollars when they withdrew a job offer back in the mid-'80s, and that I actually wiretapped the FBI.
Well, as a reformed hacker, what would you say is the hack that you're most proud of?
Well, I don't want to say I'm really proud of it. What I was mostly shocked on how easy it was, for example, to get the source code for one of Motorola's newest telephones way back in the early 90s. And it wasn't a technical attack, it was merely calling up the right people within that company and convincing them to transfer the source code to me, to an internet service provider. It's nothing that I'm really proud of. It was just really the most shocking because of the this huge company you would think would have had stringent security policies and procedures in place, and apparently they probably did, but people weren't really abiding by them.
Well, you're coming back into this communications and network world at a time when security is really on everybody's mind. How would you characterize the state of cybersecurity at this point?
Well, I think it's a double-edged sword. I believe that hacking, getting into systems and getting into networks is much easier than it was back in my day, because there's so many different tools out there that you can basically go to the right websites and download. Even exploit code is published, so even people that don't understand...
But equally, aren't there better defenses against those kinds of attacks as well?
Exactly, and security technologies are improving. You have better firewalls, encryption, biometric authentication. Remember after 9/11, facial recognition systems at the airport, which really didn't work, but they were really hyping it up and talking about it. But you also have to think, the more advanced security technologies become, the more likely that the attacker attackers are going to exploit other vulnerabilities, get hired at a company as a janitor or a lower paid position, use the art of deception to manipulate trusted people within that organization, or even compromise physical security. So you could really have good host and network security, and the attacker is going to look for the weakest link in the chain.
So you have a company now, Defensive Thinking, that's aimed at helping companies prevent those kinds of attacks. How many people in the company? I understand you're working with the actor Kevin Spacey on some projects. What's going on there?
Yeah, Kevin Spacey's new company, Trigger Street, we're in talks right now about producing a series of security awareness training films that will be marketed to the commercial sector to help companies train their people on the threats and the methodologies that the attackers use, so they will hopefully be able to recognize these type of attacks.
Do you ever think about going into the private sector in terms of working for a specific company as opposed to starting your own company? I mean, have you been approached by companies
Yes.
to be kind of like a marquee employee?
Yeah, especially since I've been off supervised release, I've been contacted by numerous organizations that are interested, and actually on Monday, the day before my supervised release actually expired, I had an interview up here at a Santa Clara company that looks very interesting. And I'll see if hopefully things will work out, and I could work in corporate America and at the same time have an information security consultancy that could help companies as well.
Great. Thanks very much for joining us, Kevin.
Thank you. Appreciate it.